somebody asked, one of the moms or mom to be asked a question about, at any point in the journey, did anyone feel or think about quitting or just like saying no? And I'd be lying if I said this journey was not overwhelming. Oh my God, it was overwhelming in every aspect, financially, emotionally, physically, with the medicine having to self inject. I posted about it on my Instagram of like all the injections I had to do and all the bruising I had in my stomach, and a couple of times where I bled so much through the injections that I had to throw away some of my clothes because they were just soaked. And I remember sending my brother a picture. He's dumbass. He was like, "Did you get shot?" Like, yeah. And then I took a selfie and sent it to you, right? And actually, it didn't look worse than it actually felt because it was just some of the medication was like blood thinners. But anyways, it was yes, overwhelming in every aspect you can think of. But I never, ever, 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 ever thought about quitting. My last trimester, I was like, get this baby out of me. And that's about it. But I never thought about quitting because I was just so certain, and I just knew I wanted to be a mom, and I knew that all that was temporary. I knew the physical, toll was temporary and I'd heal. The financial burden, I planned for it. And, there were some unexpected things that happened in my life outside of this journey, but you manage, you make it work. The emotional toll, I allowed myself to be vulnerable and I sought help. So whether it was counseling, which was required from the clinic at the beginning of my journey, which I'm so grateful for. So whether it was counseling or calling a relative, calling a friend, journaling, meditating, you do what you have to do, right? Because all I can think of is when the baby's here, there are going to be tough times, right? There are going to be times that I am going to be overwhelmed with the baby crying and you can't really figure out what's wrong with them, or, whatever it is, like having a baby, being a mom, based on my experience, or seeing other women in my life, other moms in my life, I know it wasn't going to be a breeze. I mean, I knew there would be challenges. And so for me, the whole journey, all the experiences where it was the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, whatever, I always thought to myself, you know what, Lee, this is just preparing you for what motherhood's going to look like, right? Your kids probably gonna crush your soul if you're not in that, right? And so for me, the journey was just that, And when I started my journey, it took a few tries before I got pregnant, and yeah, it was sad, like the first negative test. But I just remember, like, okay, well, you know what? When you have a baby, you're gonna have all these grand plans, and your baby's gonna shit on them up, So this is just preparing me for motherhood, right? Where it's like you had this plan, and I thought I was gonna be pregnant by July, August 2021, and it didn't happen. I didn't get pregnant until October 2022. And so, yes, it will be overwhelming. There will be times where you're just like, am I going to get through this? And the answer is yes. And I'm living proof. You are going to get through it. Don't give up. Your child is waiting for you. Motherhood is waiting for you. Motherhood is the best hood ever. So for me, from the beginning of this journey, I promised myself that I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to make the best of it. And that said, doesn't mean that it was all roses, right? It wasn't all a breeze. There were moments where I was just like, okay, this is a lot. Okay, I need to cry. I need to let out a really good cry. There were times where I cried in my shower. I literally just got on the floor and I just cried and just let it out. But you do that, you process your emotions, you process everything you're going through, you address everything you're going through. I think that was very important during my journey to make sure that I don't try to suppress my feelings or anything like that. I didn't want to feel like, oh, well, I chose this life, so I'm not entitled to feel sad. I'm not allowed to have my moments of weakness. No, I chose this and I got to be strong because, I'm a single mom. Fuck that. I was just like, I process my feelings. I'm like, if I was sad and like, like there were times where I felt lonely and I would address that. I would journal, I would call people, and the support was amazing. A lot of my friends and loved ones, they wouldn't have known if I didn't tell them, if I didn't share. So be prepared for that and have your tools in place of what you're going to use and what's going to keep you motivated. So for me, it was knowing, okay, my daughter's waiting for me at a certain milestone of this journey. I was going to say the end of the journey, but it doesn't really end. They're just milestones. So I know she was waiting for me at that, milestone when she'd be born. And so for me, it was just finding the tools. Counseling, like I said, therapists, find your loved ones, reach out to another single mother by choice, reach out to me. That's what, I'm doing all this is to be supportive and take the stigma out of being a single mother by choice and make it more accessible and easy, and or as easy as it can be. So reach out, get the help, find your community, find your support system. The Single Mother by Choice Facebook community is a great start. You'll get through it. It's a fun journey. It's what you make of it. And again, allow yourself to have like those down moments. You will have those because like you're injecting yourself with a shitload of different hormones and stuff. And so, that has an impact too, right? And so for me, and that's something I want to address too, is like you are pumping yourself with all sorts of hormones. So things are going to be off. I remember before starting this journey, I did a lot of like self-improvement work, like being at peace and just flowing, being one with the universe and just easy breezy and just like and just things would just happen so beautifully in my life. And then when I started this journey or somewhere in it, I started to doubt myself. It's like, oh my God, I feel like all the work I've done has become undone. All my insecurities are flaring up. All the issues, all, the negativity, all this stuff was kind of coming up. And, I acknowledge like, yeah, it's part, the hormones and stuff. But at the same time, doesn't mean that I don't address them, right? Doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, it's just the hormones. Let me just deal with it. Yeah, it could be the hormones, it could be the medicine, it could be all that stuff, but still address it, right? Still talk to someone and get the help that you need. And just, no, this too shall pass, right? And before you know it, you'll be holding your little bundle of joy and you'll forget all about that. I know in my third trimester, people are asking, well, Lydia, do you think you have another baby? I'm like, I don't want to think about another child and going through this again, right? And my baby is approaching 4 months, and now I'm like, when we have your little sister. So you forgot all about all that stuff and you go through it, and it's just so beautiful in the end. Not the end, but it's so beautiful when the baby's here and you know that all of it was little milestones, little things that you had to go through. They were all part of the journey to get you where you're at, and it builds you up, right? And it's like, now my baby can cry sometimes where I don't know what's going on. I'm just like, it's okay. I've been through a lot. I can deal with this. I got this. I could win this battle with me and this 4-month old. So yeah, it can be overwhelming, but don't give up. Just know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's so much beauty waiting, so much love waiting for you. And just have your tools, put your tools in place of what you're going to use when things are not going as expected, when you're crying for no reason, you don't know why, or or you have to pull out that credit card and swipe for a large thing, or whatever it is, whether it's a financial burden, emotional burden, the physical burden. Just have your tools in place to help you get through it. And just remember, you just have to get through one thing at a time, right? Just one thing at a time. And I'll give yourself that grace to go through the different parts of the journey and just embrace all of it, the good and the bad. It just builds you up. It gives you so much more confidence when all is said and done.